to Prime Minister Imran Khan's heart, and that's issues on environment, climate change. And I've shared with her our desire to plant 10 billion trees in the next 5 years to improve the environment and the impact it has on economy and people. We've discussed poverty alleviation and how she has stood for discrimination against women and how important it is for this government. Basic fundamental rights, protection of basic fundamental rights. I'm happy to say, and I'm happy to share with you, that the views that the President has upheld all her life in different capacities, and the vision of the PTI government of Prime Minister Imran Khan, there is a lot of similarity, and that's why we had an excellent meeting. So thank you for visiting us.
Thank you, Minister. Through you, I would like to really thank the hospitality and the friendship of the government and the people of Pakistan. You yourself, Minister Mahmood, a very generous and very thoughtful comments about the role of the United Nations, of the General Assembly, and how important it is in the world we live in to strengthen multilateralism and to strengthen the role of the United Nations. I think that you mentioned practically all the subjects that we addressed. I also took the opportunity to commend Pakistan for its full commitment to the implementation of Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals, for the quest for a more just and equal Pakistan for all, based on human rights, sustainable development, and peace. I think that we agree fully on the very important task ahead of us in the mitigation and adaptation to climate change. I think these 1 billion trees that have already been planted should be a world record, and your aim at having 10 billion trees planted in Pakistan only speak well about the commitment of this country to environmental action and to combating the terrible effects of climate change. I was telling Minister Qureshi that among the 10 countries that are considered the most vulnerable to climate change is precisely and unfortunately Pakistan. We have seen, the adverse effects of droughts in the southern part of Pakistan, floods, the effects of El Nino in this country that really limit the capacity of a country to combat poverty and inequality, to guarantee food security. So every effort that is made by this country to adapt to climate change, to mitigate, to reduce CO2 emissions is welcome. It's highly welcome. But above all, I think that we have a collective responsibility to address this very important issue of climate change. I also commended Pakistan on the efforts that the country is making to put women and women's rights at the forefront. I think it is very important. We cannot implement and comply with the Sustainable Development Goals if we leave 50% of the population behind. We also discussed about the importance of young people for the present and the future of Pakistan. As I understand the figures, more than 60% of the Pakistani populations are young people. We discuss about the big challenge of creating new jobs for young people, the commitment of the government to provide with 10 million new jobs, especially for young people, and this also needs to be commended. The discussion about two very important instruments that have been signed and agreed under the framework of the United Nations, both the Global Compact on Migration and the Global Compact on Refugees, are extremely relevant tools, roadmaps for fostering cooperation, burden sharing between countries of origin, transit, and destination, especially of refugees. And I think that Pakistan needs to be congratulated for its generosity of hosting millions of Afghani refugees in this country. So the Global Compact on Refugees and the Global Compact on Migration is going to allow, as mentioned, to foster greater cooperation, greater exchange of good practices, and also burden sharing, as mentioned, between countries of origin, transit, and destination. To host refugees in a country. I come from Ecuador, a country that also hosts high amounts of refugees, in our case from Colombia. It's really a very important burden in our fiscal architecture. It requires a lot of investment, a lot of resources, and countries that have this generosity should also be compensated, acknowledged, and recognized. So that speaks well about the commitment of this country to people in human mobility, but people that are vulnerable and that are just leaving their countries of origin because they don't feel safe, or they want to look for a better future for themselves and their families. And this is very much connected to the peace process in Afghanistan. So I also commended the efforts and the contribution that Pakistan is making to support and accompany the peace process in Afghanistan. I think a prosperous and peaceful Afghanistan would benefit the entire region, and Pakistan, but also the entire region. So we had a very, very fruitful conversation. I'm sure that I'm leaving out several of the issues we touched upon, but once again, I am extremely honored to be here in this beautiful country, to be able to meet a new government that is extremely committed to sustainable development, extremely committed to strengthening multilateralism, extremely
Thank you very much, Madam President and Foreign Minister. Sir, we will take a few questions, Shumaila, for the Madam President.
Thank you very much, Shumaila and the APP. Madam, as for UN security reforms, Security Council reforms, it has been 25 years that the matter has not been resolved regarding the membership categories and question of veto, etc. As holder of a prestigious office, do you think that the issue will be resolved through a consensus? And secondly, four countries is aspiring to get permanent membership of the UN Security Council. However, one of those countries has not so good track record vis-a-vis human rights violations. Do you think that the area of human rights should be taken as an important fundamental while considering the grant of permanent membership to any country? Thank you.
The security reform process, as you very well mentioned, is a process that has been going on for 25 years. There is a negotiation mandate that was established by a resolution 10 years ago, where the intergovernmental negotiations started. This is very much a member state-driven process. So the pace, the depth, and the content of the reform will very much depend on the decision, the political will of the 193 member states. My role as President of the General Assembly is to ensure that consultations are taken into account in the process. It is, I cannot hide this from you, it's a very contentious issue. There is a mandate to the General Assembly to continue the negotiations, and that this process will continue, of course, during my tenure. And I have appointed 2 co-chairs for the negotiation process, and I am following it attentively, but basically, and I repeat, it's very much a member state-driven process.
Thank you very much. Shabir Wagner Sahab, PTV, for the Foreign Minister.
Foreign Minister साहब, आपने जैसा कि कश्मीर में ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशंस और किलिंग्स पिछले 1 साल में बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गई हैं, तो क्या कोई वे फॉरवर्ड भी डिस्कस किया गया है कि क्या यूएन रोल प्ले कर सकता है, स्पेशली इंडिया को रोकने के लिए कि ये जो ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशन बढ़ गई हैं इनको चेक किया जाए, वे फॉरवर्ड के हवाले से कुछ डिस्कशन हुई?
I will quickly translate the question for the benefit of the President. Yeah, it is.
Just for me, he's going to translate the question.
Indian forces were also discussed, and Foreign Minister.
देखिए, इंसानी हकूक़ की पामाली का ताल्लुक है, पाकिस्तान गाए बगाए इस पर बात करता रहा है, लेकिन इस दफ़ा एक थोड़ी सी नौयत में तब्दीली आई है, और वो ये है कि अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा की नामज़द करदा ह्यूमन राइट्स कमिश्नर की एक रिपोर्ट जून 2018 में आई है, और वो रिपोर्ट जो है वो सर्कुलेट हो चुकी है, पब्लिक डॉक्यूमेंट है, सब ने उसका मुताला किया है, और उसने उन सब चीज़ों को हाईलाइट किया है जो पाकिस्तान गाहे बगाहे कहता चला आया, और उस पर उनकी सिफारिशात में से एक सिफारिश ये है कि अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा, जिसकी क्या आप जनरल असम्बली की सदर हैं, एक कमीशन ऑफ इंक्वायरी तश्कील दिया जाए जो कि इन्वेस्टिगेट करे और हक़ाइक़ जो है वो दुनिया के सामने रखे। पाकिस्तान समझता है कि इसमें वज़न है और इसको तवज्जो मिलनी चाहिए। पाकिस्तान ये भी समझता है कि ये मसला जो है इस पे अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा की ज़िम्मेदारी है। ये जो अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा की सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल है, ये उसके रेजोल्यूशंस जो हैं वो आपकी एजेंडा पर हैं। कश्मीर का जो मसला है वो एक मुतनाज़ा है, एक बैन अक़वामी तनाज़ा समझा जाता है, उसको रिकग्नाइज़ किया जाता है, और इनकी ज़िम्मेदारी ठहरती है कि इस पर वो इसकी पेशरफ्त में ये अपना किरदार अदा करें। इसमें कोई शक नहीं कि बेपनाह जानी नुकसान हुआ है, 90,000 के लगभग लोगों ने शहादत का जाम नोश किया है, बेपनाह ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशंस वहाँ हुई हैं, और ये भी आप जानते हैं कि आज जो लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल पर वायलेशंस हो रही हैं वो तवातर से हो रही हैं, और जिस तरह से वहाँ असला जमा किया जा रहा है हमारे पड़ोस में, तो इससे खदशा है कि एक फ्लैश पॉइंट है और इस फ्लैश पॉइंट को एड्रेस होना चाहिए। पाकिस्तान एक पुरअमन मुल्क है, हम अपने हमसायों के साथ अमन से रहना चाहते हैं, लेकिन ये मसला जो है, जो इंसानी हकूक़ का मसला है, ये फौरी तवज्जो का मसला है, और इस पर हम समझते हैं कि आप जैसी शख्सियत, सदर जनरल असम्बली जैसी शख्सियत, जिनका एक अपना ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड है, बड़ा नुमाया ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड है, अपना किरदार अदा कर सकती हैं।
I'll just summarize what the Honourable Foreign Minister said. We have been raising it mentioned listed the human rights violations that are happening in IOK. One important recommendation was the establishment of a commission of inquiry to look into the matters and to put an immediate halt to whatever is going on in IOK. Additionally, he also said that the UN Security Council resolutions are the fundamental UN Security Council resolutions. The human rights violations have been gross in Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Some 90,000 people have lost their lives, and the use of pellet guns and use of rape as an instrument of state for repression is a matter of grave concern for Pakistan, the UN and the international community. Lastly, the Minister Saab mentioned that the President of the General Assembly has a very good track record on human rights, and she has done a lot of work on human rights. The PGA, please.
Amjad Ali from State Broadcaster, PTV News. Madam President,
Human Rights released a report on massive human rights violations in Indian-occupied Kashmir in June last year. So my question is, what you and the UN can do to stop India from committing these severe violations? And also, there are Security Council resolutions on Kashmir. So the people of Kashmir ask how you can play a role to implement those resolutions. Thank you.
Well, I think that as enshrined in the UN Charter, my role as the President to the General Assembly is to ensure within the mandate that we have to continue to make recommendations on the general principles of cooperation for maintaining international peace and security. You very well mentioned that you referred to a Security Council resolution. I am the President of the General Assembly, but of course the Charter is built in three pillars. The three pillars of the Charter are peace and security, development, and human rights. It is the responsibility of all members in every corner of the planet to respect and guarantee fundamental rights and the dignity of people. And these are the principles by which we stand as the United Nations.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just go ahead. I will see you at the Prime Minister's office.
Okay, I will see you later, Minister. Thank you.
वज़ीर ख़ारजा शाह महमूद कुरैशी और अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा में जनरल असम्बली के सदर मारिया फर्नांडा